Okay, I've started the recording. So welcome everyone to the fourth online coaching session from Alton. It's going to be slightly different this week. We've got a few special guests. Our first special guest is Ariana, who's going to be our host for the evening. For those of you who don't know, Ari is one of our first team lady players. She went to Amory Hill, now goes to Peter Simmons. She's going to act as our main host this evening with support from Emily and Abby, and the three of them all playing in our under 18 girls squad. So, Ari, I'm going to try and spotlight you.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday session. Today, we're going to be talking to Fiona Crackles, who is a defender who has recently got on the England squad, and she also goes to Durham Uni. So Fiona, we're just going to start off with a couple of hockey questions, if that's okay. I really want to know, like, how you started playing hockey, like what made you start it?
So I probably, like a lot of you, joined my local club. So I'm from the northwest of England, so that was a little town called Kirkby Lonsdale. Probably not many people have heard of it. So my mum at the time umpired, and I have two older brothers that also played. So very much hockey family. And essentially, my mum would umpire, and my two older brothers would be playing. And as a way of babysitting, I would obviously go and watch the game because I couldn't be left at home. So very, very young, I got like a little stick and basically was the annoying child wanting the subs to pass me a ball or just do anything, or I'd just be hitting a ball against like the sideboard and stuff like that. So very much, I was really lucky that I kind of got into sport early. And I think I joined my local like Kirkby. I think I was year 3, so I don't know. I think that was the youngest you could join, very, very, very young. But I just loved it from the off, really. I played football as well for quite a while, but then didn't really have time for both. Kind of when you go to secondary school, it's a bit difficult. So then I just chose hockey because just it was really good laugh with all my friends, really. But yeah, Kirkby Lonsdale was my first club.
Glad to hear you chose the right sport.
Yeah.
That sounds really interesting. So was that you started playing at your club? And what was that called again?
Kirkby Lonsdale. So yeah, I played there until under 16, I think, and then played juniors and some ladies stuff kind of as soon as I could, and then moved to a club a little bit further away, about half an hour away, and then had to travel then like a couple of years after, probably like an hour to training just to kind of go up the leagues and stuff. So my final 2 years while I was at school, I played at Ben Ridding Hockey Club, which is kind of Yorkshire way, just because they were National League. So being in the north is quite, you have to commit a lot of hours to traveling. Well, my parents did at the time. And I learned to drive as quick as I could so I could get to training myself. But it was a big commitment because of the travel, but it was, something that I wanted to do. So it didn't really matter. I found a way, really. So, yeah.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of commitment. So did you trial for like county, and like when did that happen?
Yeah, so trying to think back to like county days. So I joined, so my county was Cumbria. So I did the JAC and like that JRPC in Durham. So that was kind of under 15, under 16, and then I was lucky enough to get selected for the under 16 England team when I was 15. So that was quite scary for a little northern girl. I remember the first training session, everyone pretty much there was at your Surbiton's or Beeston, like the big clubs, and no one had heard of where I was from. But I guess it kind of goes to show it doesn't really matter. And if you just try your hardest and be yourself, you'll kind of get the best out of things. So so that was Pretty amazing to think. Just a little Cumbrian girl you can still make it. It doesn't really matter. So.
Oh, that sounds so exciting. We also heard that you were the captain of the under-18s England team for a bit.
Yeah, I was. You've really stalked me, haven't you? That seems like a while ago now, but it wasn't actually that long ago. Yeah, I loved age group hockey and the England system. I really enjoyed age group hockey, and we were lucky enough to we travelled to Holland, played Belgium, quite a few European countries, which was a phenomenal experience. At kind of still being at school, it was just a real amazing taste of what there was really, and I loved it. So we had the Europeans in my final year at under 18s, and myself and one of my closest friends, actually, we kind of captained and co-captained, and we were in Spain, I think, and the previous team had also got bronze. So there was we really wanted to kind of prove ourselves that we could make it at least top 3 in that competition. And I actually we got to the bronze medal match, and the night before I actually fell ill. I got food poisoning, or we think food poisoning, and I actually couldn't play the final game. And it still gives me goosebumps actually. It was a really, really emotional night and day, because you've worked, your whole year, you've trained on the rain, in the snow, and there's a group of girls we were really close as friends as well. So it was awful, and my mum had come out to watch the games as well. And once I was feeling a bit better, she came and picked me up from our hotel, and we watched the game because it was being filmed on a YouTube link. And we just sat and just cried while we watched the game, because you couldn't do anything. But it was amazing, because the girls won 2-1, and it was brilliant. And it wasn't it was something else actually. It was really amazing, even though I didn't get to play, but I've still got my medal.
Oh, that sounds amazing. So obviously Olympics next year. So how's that looking with all the training and forecasting?
Yeah, well, it's a big change. Kind of, I guess, in mindset. Only a couple of months ago, I saw myself as a university student who played a lot of hockey, yes, but I guess now I'm oh, okay, I actually need to call myself an athlete now. I need to take this quite seriously. So it's been a brilliant couple of weeks. It's been very full on, a lot of training, but I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, it seems even weird to think that I am in for Olympic selection. I think it's very competitive, but a healthy competitive. So it's there's obviously only a certain number of people that go, and we've got quite a big training squad. But I think a big thing for us, one of our values, is we are one. So selection actually comes out end of April, which in the grand scheme of things is quite soon. But irrespective of that, we still train together for quite a while, still as a big group. So even though we've been essentially separated into you're going to the Olympics and you're not, I think the 16 that go are made up they've got where they are because of everyone. So it's very much a holistic group, and whoever goes and doesn't go, we mutually they have to exist together. So it's obviously nerve-wracking about selection and stuff, but just got to commit to each day of training as much as I can and see where it goes really. But it's a learning experience either way. So yeah, feeling very lucky.
Gosh, that sounds really competitive. How is it? Because obviously you're playing with a lot of people who may have been your idols when you were growing up and started playing. What's that like actually playing with them now?
I'll tell you something. I was so awkward and nervous for a long time because it seems crazy because only a couple of years ago I didn't even see myself as being in this position. So yeah, I feel like the Susanna Townsends, the Laura Unsworth, the Maddie Hinch, and I still see them and think this is weird. But it's amazing. They have just incredible knowledge and experience, but they are, as soon as you kind of get to the pitch, it doesn't matter how old you are or your experience, everyone does just want to push each other to get better. So I think I think I kind of have now, you get over the nerves of just being in the environment. It's you can't fear it. You've just got to kind of like enjoy it and be in that growth mindset, not kind of feared. So yeah, it's weird I think they still are my role models, but I'm just gonna pretend like they're not.
Most definitely. Wow, that's so cool. I don't know if you knew this, but Alex Danson used to play at our club. So that was like one of our like big idols. Have you ever like played with her or talked to her?
No, she's obviously a big role model. I've never played with or against her. But I think when was it? Maybe a couple of years ago, we had with the England under 18s, we had a talk with her actually, kind of on. It wouldn't have been online. Probably was face to face. Seems weird to say that. I think, and yeah, we had like a Q&A, and I remember being so nervous, but I really wanted to ask a question. I don't know, I would have plucked up the courage or not, but yeah, she's incredible. Yeah, just phenomenal goal scorer and player, and I'm sure she still thanks Alton Hockey Club a lot for where she started.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you so much. That was actually really, really interesting. I think next we're going to pass on to Pete, who's going to show us a couple of like clips of your international matches. For those of you who don't know, Pete's a coach at our club. He does a lot of stuff with like the juniors and everything. So Pete, should I pass on to you?
Thanks, Ari. Yeah, thanks. That was really interesting, and it's good to try and understand your journey. And I think it's aspirational for some of the players here who are sort of just starting out on that pathway journey and are playing for county and things like that. So yeah, so some context here. So Martin said the other day, oh, can you just put together some footage of Fiona playing? It's not impossible to get any FIH Pro League footage. So we were scrabbling around, and I called in a few favors last night and managed to get some. So this was hastily put together, and I feel I've spent hours trying to track Fiona around a hockey pitch and identify some footage. So fingers crossed that this goes okay. And yeah, let's try it. Let's share my screen. So Fiona, feel free to chip in with some of my comments. Right, so can you all see my wonderful graphics? Yeah, is that a yes? Okay. Okay, so I'm trying to tie this into some of the attacking principles that we discussed last week. So this first bit's about attacking, and then before we move on to some more general play, and this was from your first and second caps in for GB against the Dutch in October last year. And for context, everyone, the Dutch ladies are the best team in the world. So it was a sharp introduction to international adult hockey. Okay, some attacking principles first. So what I want you to watch here is one of the things we discussed last week in the attacking principles was you need people to post up and get inside these pockets. So just watch Fiona here. She's constantly posting up, making herself available. And this is GB actually doing a really good job of changing the picture, which we discussed last week. Just trying to move the Dutch around. And again, not letting them escape from a press. This is a really good press. And we managed to get a turnover. So now we try and retain to space. There's some more exciting bits coming up, trust me. But again, watch Fiona posting up in the middle here in this pocket. So on that bit, so actually it's really good GB play. So for those again who did the attacking workshop last week, we saw England get really turned over by the Dutch in the Euros because of the pressure that the Dutch put on us. And in this game, actually the GB players are really putting pressure on the Dutch, not letting them escape. And it's constant pressure. Lily Owsley is absolutely superb creatively and trying to turn the Dutch defender inside out here. But watch Fiona backing up. And so when the Dutch player wins the ball, she's able to step in, intercept, and go on a little run of her own.
Fiona, how do you feel with so much pressure from the Dutch coming in at you from all angles?
So I think, well, the Dutch are known for just being immensely quick. Like you know, when you get the ball, as if you look away or a stick comes off the ball for milliseconds, it's gone already. They love shaving, like kind of shave tackles and jabbing the ball away. So I remember that when I first came on, I was just like, right, I just need to touch the ball. I just need to touch the ball, because as soon as you kind of like get into it, I think I then had this switch that I was like, it's a game of hockey. I know how to play a game of hockey. To just forget who they are, but just be really quick when you've got it. Don't forget, like, don't hang around. So I think for me, I've just got to remember to not kind of get too nervous. I've just got to kind of relax and remember why I play hockey. As I said, like, I started young. I love the sport, and you just got to remind yourself, and then you can just try and enjoy it, not just play with fear, really. So yeah,
That must have been
Fantastic.
amazing.
So I think that's a good lesson for. I mean, we're trying to transition the juniors into senior hockey. So as soon as you know, and there's naturally some nervousness around even playing for Alton men's sixes when you turn 13, 14. So, but it's just a game of hockey. I think that's really good advice, Fiona. I think you deserve the short corner here. I've certainly had them given for me, you know, for less by some people on this call actually. But no attempt to keep the ball in there by the Dutch. But really interesting bit coming up, a transition where the Dutch break away. And again, so Fiona posting up again. Actually, for anyone on the call, who is my favorite player that I use for posting up examples? They were featured a lot last week. Prize if you put it in the chat.
Some Sorry, whose name I can never remember.
No. But what I want you to watch here is, so the Dutch now are on forward first fast. Look at, and so Fiona is in the middle trying to keep pace with this player here. As we know, the Dutch are really quick. Just watch as she keeps pace with this breakaway. Considering she was on the edge of the D a few seconds ago, and then really good defending, looking around constantly, see where this player is. So that's a lesson even for you, sort of lazy forwards. You've got to chase back. Has anyone put my favorite player in the chat yet? I can't see it, but no. Okay. We're going to get the controversy of last week's game, aren't we? Where no one was paying attention. Okay, this is about retaining to space, and again, great posting up. So this bit, I think, Fiona, I think you're just about to come on actually, but the reason I highlighted this is because last week we had several examples where England were just hammered in the corner of the pitch by the Dutch, pushing them over and just not letting them escape. And we weren't very good at retaining to space. Whereas here we just do a fantastic job of breaking the Dutch press. Look at the movement off the ball. The Dutch are swarming over to this side, trying to keep people on the ball side. And then cynical foul by the Dutch to break up play. Again, just watch Fiona come on, and her posting up, always available. Watch the movement. Again, nice support work in the D, and we get a short corner. So really nice breakout from a deep press. And then just a little example of retaining to space. So again, Fiona posting up in under pressure, just not panicking, just getting out, getting into space. Again, posting up in this pocket. Okay, now on to some defending. Any questions on that lot? Anyone or comments? No.
I have, Pete. Sorry.
Go on then.
Just a quick one for Fiona, really. What was really interesting was when everybody was jumping back, it really looked like you were sort of packing the hotline to goal. Is that the main tactic to get the centre packed out to push them wide?
Yeah, very good question, actually. I guess it's all quite situational, but a lot of the time, so in that instance, the person on the ball, there was someone kind of with her. So for everyone else jumping back, yeah, it's straightest line to the goal. So you run. There's no point wasting energy to get towards the player if someone is already kind of occupying that. Like if someone can already delay, because we have the 4 Ds or something, I don't know. So like one of them is delay. So if someone's already doing that, our job is just bust a gut. And I think for me, I guess she was my player and my worry, probably why I was trying to run back so fast, because if she got the ball, I'd look back on video and that was my responsibility. So I think I was running back to chase her and we were all kind of running to goal. But a lot of other kind of situations, if there's a turnover and someone is already kind of taking the ball carrier, everyone else, it's line to goal to pack the middle. And then say if we overtake play and we're in a good position, then you can pad out. That's kind of what they're called. So you go from the middle to then pad out to the outside. So yeah.
So effectively, you have a number of principles you play to depending on the phase of the game. Yeah,
very much so. And a lot of them are kind of just built on stuff you just learn, like as you kind of like, nothing's like revolutionary new, but just some of them is a bit more kind of like format to what you do when, but pretty much just run back as hard as you can and then try and go from there, really.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay. We got some hotline stuff in a minute and defending the line to goal. Don't worry, I'm on it. Okay, so some more defensive skills now. I can't remember what's in this bit, so I might be making it up. Marking, there you go. We've just seen some marking. This is even better marking. As you might have noticed, everyone's changed kits, so I think we're in a different game. So Dutch turnover, the Dutch are in blue here. They've done a nice transfer around the back. My favourite player in here, posting up, ready to beat the pocket press. Right, pause, watch these two. Okay. So there was a little look around by Fiona, see where her player was, and then she's getting touch tight to her. And is that a cynical block with a stick to make sure she can't jump in front?
I wouldn't say cynical.
It's just the way you hold your stick.
I think for me, in a situation like this, I don't want to get, and for a lot of defenders, we don't want to get too ball focused. So you're so fixated on the ball maybe coming across that your player might just drift off your shoulder. So I'm not trying to block her. I'm just trying to check she's still there. I'm thinking, oh God, where has she gone? But I'm not pushing against her or anything now.
Okay, that's good. I think so that's really interesting. We're trying to get people tight to players, and again, not get too ball focused.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think just play it on, but just how close you get here, really. Unfortunately, it's a short corner, but there's lots of scanning around to see where your player is. So great marking job. Okay.
Fiona, I just saw that especially then there was a lot of like man-to-man marking in the D and even in your half. Is there any like time where you might do more zonal marking or like a half court press?
Yeah, really good question. We have quite a lot of different presses, and they've all got different calls. I guess we do have a half court press and a couple of zonal ones that we drop off. Predominantly, when they're outletting, we would be zonal. But I guess for kind of deeper defense, a lot of the time we would be man to man and call. There's not necessarily a call, but you just kind of slowly transition into from zonal to man, probably just because of the pace of the game. Like if you're a bit slow to go from zonal to man, just the speed of how fast the ball can go. I guess we'd probably edge on the side of caution with being man to man, probably a bit higher up than definitely than I'm used to playing. So it's just because then you have that individual responsibility of, oh, this is my player, or that's your player. So definitely in our defensive 25, we would be man to man, definitely.
That's really interesting. Thank you so much.
So I guess here's a example of that. So not man to man, but just trying to put pressure on, and also this little pocket, so that if they do get it to Ava Dahuda here, that's the answer to the quiz, by the way, then yeah, you can put pressure on her straight away. Okay. So again, just watch the close marking in here before we run on to the next clip. I still think that's a cynical stick, but okay. Defending the hotline. So line to goal hotline. So again, we're out of possession. So watch Fiona in here, constantly moving about between the ball and the direct line to goal. So ready on this hotline or line to goal defense. Again, dropping in deep here, stopping that direct ball in. And a fantastic block and safely away. So interesting there. So we discussed the line to goal in defensive practices, but here the threat when this Dutch player runs around the back, as we saw in the goal scoring workshop a few weeks ago, the threat is really difficult to score from here. So the threat is in here. So Fiona is now blocking the hotline where they can pull the ball back. Again, just really low, balanced position, ready to react. And sure enough, the Dutch player does try to pull back. And again, as we saw in the goal scoring workshop we did, the Dutch are just really good at jumping in front of players and muscling them out of the way. So defending this line is absolutely crucial. Did Mark Hagar give you any specific instructions around this for the Dutch, or is it just something you do against all opponents?
Probably not specifically for the Dutch, but a few things for like the hotline work. It always seems really simple. You're like, okay, just line to goal, but getting the depth of how close to goal and how far out of the circle and that kind of thing is actually a lot of trial and error. Like you do get it wrong a lot of times, and you know you've got it wrong because it's whizzed past you and you can't quite reach it because if you're a bit deeper, then you'd have a bit more time to react. So for this instance, a lot of the time you want the spare or the person line to goal to be outside the D, because obviously if you do fumble it or get tackled, at least it's not going to hit your foot and be a corner. But when they're attacking so high, you do have to drop back a lot further. So for this instance, you feel a bit silly being so close to goal, but it gives you more opportunity to read where the pass is going. So yeah, you just got to be low and be ready so it doesn't just clip your foot or something really annoying like that. So yeah, just just gotta be ready, really.
That's good. And again, you're immediately put under pressure here. You've managed to get
Yeah.
out and draw the free hit. So fantastic.
Fiona, we've got a question already, actually. Someone wants to know what the biggest difference between your international hockey and your club hockey is, with like preparation, like skill set, fitness, and like intensity.
Oh, good question. I think, what's the first one? Preparation. I think for my club hockey the last 2 years has been at Durham University, and I've absolutely it's been an amazing 2 years, and we do take the sport there like very seriously. So we have quite not quite a strict schedule, but we have quite regular training and gym sessions and things like that. And being university that have to travel a lot, we get a lot of like coaches to games and stuff. So everyone prepares differently, but normally on the bus on the way down, we have kind of like a rule that you just kind of like respect each other, how they want to prepare for the game differently. So we're normally quite quiet on the bus on the way down. Well, especially for the first kind of half an hour or whatever. Some people nap, some people listen to music, or if you've got a deadline, you might be doing work. Everyone's a bit different. And then for kind of closer to the fixture, we then, or like the venue, then might put some music on and kind of get a bit excited for the game. I guess the big difference would be just the speed of play. So how fast passes go, or how like little time you have on the ball. That's definitely the biggest one for me, especially being in the screen. If you get the ball and you don't know what you're going to do with it yet, it's too late. You've already been tackled, you've already lost it. So that's the biggest one, I think, and the hardest one to kind of get used to. But yeah, we've recently been having a few inter-squad games this last couple of days, and it's really kind of got us up to scratch and pace that you just have to push each other to be that tight marking on your opposition player, because that's only what it's going to be against the Dutch, but 10 times worse, really. So I'd say that's the biggest difference. And then fitness wise just comes with that, I guess. Over the Christmas block before joining the seniors, I had quite a big running and gym kind of program to follow, and it's horrible and it's hard, and it's especially when the weather's rubbish. Like, no one likes running. I can vouch, no one likes running, but it's always worth it. You just got to remember it's worth it to then be fast on the ball and keep going on the pitch. So that's the way to kind of motivate yourself to get that done, really.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Just on that point, I think you're saying, Fiona, that you don't get time. You have to know what you're going to do before you get it. And I think that ability to pre-scan is just be aware and receive with the intent to go in the direction you want to go is the sort of mark of a world-class player. And I have to say, having watched, the footage again and again and again, you do so much pre-scanning. Your head is never still. You're constantly looking around for threats and opportunities. So it's great. So this isn't, I want to show you this because I'll show you how GB and Fiona defend against this. So last week we looked at Ava de Herde in the pocket, helping an outlet, and then turning and getting a vertical pass to one of her teammates. So this is against Germany in the Euros hockey final. So nice vertical pass. The strength of this player here, she just turns the German player and is away. And then Ava de Herde runs up. So there's an overload. They get in the D, and there's a short corner shout. Right, so contrast this, because it's an almost identical situation, but for Holland versus GB. So de Herde in here, they move it around a little bit, but she's scanning, looking for the vertical pass. Here it goes. And then there's a battle in there, and Fiona gets it and comes away with it. So I think I had my mouse in the wrong bit there. So de Herde pass is really well closed down by, don't know who that is, but there's a little physical battle in here, but Fiona comes away with it and stops the attack and then sets up a little counter I think the Dutch do really well to defend this. And I guess at this point, Fiona, you're desperate for one of your forwards to lead into this space.
Yeah, I think so.
And you don't get any support.
I think I'm feeling a bit lost there at the moment. Yeah.
But I think a fantastic interception. It shows how strong you've got to be to win those challenges.
Yeah.
Okay. And then awareness, coming back to the point you made earlier. So this is interesting. So the Dutch get a couple of free hits here. So Fiona starts off marking this player, but then I think you realise there's no one on the line to goal or hotline, and so you switch and you give a call to someone.
Just on that note, Fiona, we've got another question. How important is like the communication and relationship between just defenders and then defenders and the goalie as well? Like how much influence does the goalie have on where the defenders may place themselves?
Oh, like communication is huge, and especially, I mean, the keeper just has the biggest vision, and you really is a real trust that you've got to have with each other, and especially the keeper behind you. If you have the slightest doubt of someone telling you to step left or go with that player, as I say, with the speed of the game, if you dwell on that or if you don't trust that decision, then it's too late because you're stuck in no man's land. So the communication between each other as a defense and a defense speaking to the mids and the mids to the forwards, without that, you're not cohesive at all. There's constant chatter, and obviously you can't hear it here, and I don't think you can't hear when you watch the games on TV either. You don't, the volume isn't just quite there. It's no, like, especially here we have no crowd, so you'd think it'd be dead quiet, but there's the volume that we're chatting to each other, and the Dutch obviously in a different language as well, so it's quite overwhelming, constantly chatting to each other. So, and it's even the reassurance. So it's like, oh, whoever, Ari, step left, or yeah, you're good there. It's just constant, because you need that reassurance, because if you don't and you have that slight hesitancy, or you're too slow and it's gone. And but yeah, keepers communication is huge and is so vital. And almost even if you say something and it's wrong, it's better to say it than to not say it, because often especially being a young player in a team, to a lot of the juniors as well watching, even if you're not sure, sometimes it's good just to say something, because it's kind of better than awkward silence, or just other people get reassured by just volume anyway, and it can put off the opposition as well. So if you sound like you know what you're doing, then they're thinking, oh goodness, this team is really organized, or kind of, and it works wonders really, just to chat and reassure each other. Thank you so much. That sounds really interesting.
So on this bit, you are shouting here and saying, I don't know, I think this is Joe Hunter, you're telling her to get over here, because you've realised there's no one in this dangerous space, and the Dutch love to do a crash ball into the centre for deflection. So yeah, you spot the danger, come across, you're still shouting, get across. And then here, Joe does a nice elbow in the face of the Huda. Unintentional.
Accidental.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously.
But in situations like that, though, do you have a system where you go, actually, this is the immediate threat, I've got to get there? Or do you have a sort of principle where actually one of these circle edge players needs to pick up the runner, or the potential runner? Or is it just each situation depends on what's unfolding?
Yeah, I guess each situation is different, but like as my Durham head coach always says, the goal doesn't move. So the goal is there, and they need to go inside the circle to shoot at the goal, which doesn't move. So I obviously start out wide, but the order of threat is obviously just her passing a ball into the circle or being direct. So realistically, if you kind of, it's not really like an order of thinking, like a right or wrong. But I think here I've just gone, this is silly. I don't need to be out there. And forwards or anyone, it's people can mark and do two jobs. So here Joe can pressure the ball, but also if she steps right a little bit, can cover that pass as well. So I think two jobs is quite a big one for a lot of forwards, especially So if you're pressing as a 3 and they're a back 4, or a lot of the time forwards actually have to do a lot of things at once, but normally as defenders you have your one player or your one role. So here I think I'm just saying, Joe, can you do those 2 things and I'll cover this hotline, because the goal is still there and I need to be in line of it, really.
Okay. That's great. That's fantastic. I wondered how you dealt with that, but that's great.
Yeah.
Ari, I'm conscious I've got more footage, but I'm conscious of the time, and you wanted to do other things. So
yeah, well, I think we've got time for another small clip.
oh, there's no small
It's up
clips.
to you.
Yeah, I'll run it and see what's next. See what I've got. No idea what one is next. Actually, it might be my stopping Ava clip. Legally this time. Stopping Ava. Here we go.
We're good for time. As long as Fiona's okay, we're fine.
Okay. So this is the Dutch get a turnover in a minute and attack the space. And Fiona coming in here teams up with Susanna, I think, to take the ball off her. Really good. And then really strong to hold off this Dutch player. So just a really nice double teaming here. Spot the threat, because she's terrible when she runs at people. She'll destroy defenses. And again, really strong to hold off the defender. Okay. And this is just several bits of stopping. This is a long clip actually, but again, posting up, helping potentially outlet through the pocket. Really good Dutch press. Again, nice front and reverse pressure from the Dutch. Posting up even in a small space. Just constantly available for a pass. So that's a really good bit of double teaming there. Will, stop drawing on my screen. Can you see that? Will's drawn an arrow. Ban him, Martin. Kick him out of the meeting. Can you everyone see that, or is it just me? So here, obviously a turnover, massive danger, but Fiona steps out, stops the player coming forward, and then I think it's Lily Owsley, bit of reverse pressure to force them back. So really good, important stop. Nice low body position. And there's another great tackle coming up. So again, really good pressure by the Dutch. We're trying to outlet, just run out of space. So again, good pressure in here, forcing the Dutch to play quickly. But this is Maria Verschure, and she's so dangerous and a fantastic tackle. And I've watched this several times, Fiona, and there's no way you should have got a free hit against you, in my humble opinion. So Maria in here comes out, bump. That's a nice jab into the shin pads, I think. But the fact is you drop back and are in position again to defend another attack. So, but yeah, really good defending from my opinion anyway. Okay. Should we stop it there? I think, like I say, I've got a few more minutes or another minute or so, but I'm really conscious of the time. And Emily wanted to do a game. Ari's kicking me under the table now and saying stop. So, all right, hopefully everyone found that useful. And Fiona, hopefully I found some stuff which you agree with, and maybe even Mark Hagar agreed with. But,
no, they were brilliant. I think you managed to find all the good bits I did those couple of days, really.
Thanks. Okay.
Cool. Brilliant.
Thanks, Pete. That was really good. That was really interesting to see you kind of in action a little bit, Fiona. And now I'm going to pass on to Abby, who's one of our ladies ones, and she's also on the under 18 team. She's going to ask you a couple of questions about keeping fit in lockdown and mental health and how you may balance like your uni work and playing hockey. So over to you, Abby.
Yeah, so I know promoting fitness has become quite a big thing in lockdown. So obviously gyms are shut. We haven't got hockey sessions going on, but what's happening with all your hockey during lockdown? Like, do you still get to play and train, or you're not doing anything?
Yeah, well, the first lockdown was pretty hard there, because I wasn't part of the GB setup. So because we actually have elite dispensation at the moment, so we're lucky enough to, I mean, it's phenomenal really that we're kind of still managing to train and use our like elite gym as well. We've had a couple of like COVID tests and stuff prior to make sure we're all okay and stuff. But for the first lockdown, when I wasn't quite that lucky. With our Durham uni and that kind of stuff, we set challenges and stuff like that, like fitness challenges. And I think for us, a lot of it was like just checking in with each other and kind of doing video calls and coffee mornings and stuff like that, just to check in with everyone, because training is really hard regardless of a pandemic. So it's when you're doing it all alone, especially for everyone here, when part of a team sport, I think suddenly then training on your own it sucks, because you play to see your friends, to see everyone. So it was really difficult, and I think you have to realize you rely on all your friends a lot more than you realized, and checking in with people. So yeah, at the moment I'm really lucky to still be training and playing, but for kind of everyone else that isn't, and all the university stuff that's going on at the moment, yeah, we love a fitness challenge, or our recent one, we split up into playing lines. So defense were a team, and midfield were a team, and forwards were a team. And as soon as we do that, we get very competitive. So kind of how many kilometers we could do and stuff like that within a couple of weeks. So things like that have gone down pretty well.
That's good. I think we saw some of the TikTok hockey challenges online. We were but,
yeah, and those.
yeah, people have been doing Strava, and Strava competition is becoming good. But yeah, so how do you keep fit, and how do you stay motivated? Do you I know you said earlier you were on a plan, like a running plan and stuff. Do you have that with food as well, or do you do that yourself?
Yeah, so I'm obviously lucky enough to kind of have a bit of structure to my training, and I think when someone else kind of plans that for you, like the Essence strength and conditioning coaches, for me, if I don't have a plan, I won't do it. I'll make an excuse, kind of got work to do, or you're watching that show, or it's raining and stuff like that. But if you kind of have a structure that, regardless of the weather and the day and whatever, and you just get out and do it, I think that's kind of the biggest thing for me. I like doing it in the morning, but I don't like doing it on an empty stomach. So it's all kind of doing what's right for you. So I quite like getting up, have a bit of breakfast, and get a running session done like 11ish. But I do find training on my own really hard, and I think it's frustrating when the media portrays elite training and everyone to just, it's easy for them, and it's not. Everyone hates it, but you do it to benefit your hockey, and it's just one of those things that you've got to do. So yeah, the Christmas block was hard, but then it makes training now easier. Nutrition wise, we have a nutritionist with the seniors, but a lot of what they do is advice and just understanding and knowledge. We definitely don't have like a set plan, and it's very much kind of gaining understanding of how to fuel your body, and a lot of it's recovery as well. We do have a lot of rest days, and it's what to eat on those days, or what to eat after gym and stuff like that. So I love it because I do sports science at uni, so I find it really interesting. And yeah, it's just doing, they love to say it's just doing the 1%ers. So it's that remembering to take your protein shake after gym and stuff like that, and and making sure you have had that banana before training to kind of give you that energy. But there's by no means it's like a strict plan, and I still love having a chocolate digestive and stuff like that. Like it's not no sweet stuff and stuff like that for sure. So
Will course help you with hockey at all, like learning about nutrition and things? Does that help you with your own hockey?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it helps because it kind of, when you have a bit more understanding, you can kind of buy into it a lot, because you get like, oh, I've read something about that, or and stuff like that. I guess my course is quite broad, and a lot of it is kind of cultural and societal issues with sport as well. So that's really interesting, kind of living in an environment and being part of a sporting environment that can inspire the future and change views about minority sports or kind of women in sports and stuff like that. So it is really interesting, and I wouldn't be kind of doing hockey without my course. I think I would get a bit too, it's a good distraction. They're both a good distraction for each other, for sure, because I think they want people that don't study or kind of don't have other hobbies and jobs, you end up just kind of overthinking everything, a bit of training. But if you can train and come home and be like, oh, I've got a lecture to do, it's quite a nice balance, really. I enjoy it.
One of the main things I was going to ask on the aspect of mental health was, I know that mentally, as you get to a high level, a lot of people can find that a bit too stressful, and it can cause a lot of people to drop out. So how do you like cope with the competitive nature of the sport?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think for me personally, I do just have to, especially if you're just having a bit of a rubbish day, or you've not trained well, like a couple of days in a row, you can get a bit frustrating, and yeah, the pressure of feeling like you have to train well and play well is hard. But sometimes all it takes is like a song that you love. You play that on the way to training, or you've just got to remember why you're playing. And for me, it's just the love with the sport. And if you forget that, then it's why bother? So you need to just kind of, maybe just as like a tip, kind of remember your incentives for playing. And is it to see your friends? Is it because you love kind of the buzz of the game, or the like endorphins after you've played and stuff like that? I actually, after doing a couple of years of, as we said, the England under 16s and then England under 18s, I actually took a gap year where I went to Australia, and I played a bit of hockey. But for me, that was a big, actually just a big break. I think I was my final year of under 18s, and yeah, we won the bronze, and it was a brilliant year. But I was getting a bit kind of, am I enjoying this still, and stuff like that. And you've got to know yourself. Some people can power through, some people, like, everyone's different. And for me at that point, I was like, oh, I need a bit of a break from this, and then came back, and yeah, and then you kind of remember why you're playing again, and you're all refueled and kind of remotivated to get back to it. And that's kind of what I decided to do.
That's brilliant. Gap year sounds amazing. So did you play a lot of, did you go on your gap year for hockey, or did you go and then just ended up playing hockey on your way?
Yeah, I very much went to not play hockey. So I was in Queensland and Sunshine Coast, which I can say it's very nice, very nice beaches. And I worked at a school. I was really lucky to work at a lovely school on the coast, and I had a host family and stuff like that. So for me, it was just to travel and to live in someone else's family. It was an amazing experience, and I was so lucky to do that. And then I actually had a bit of a back injury at the time, so I had to sort that out. And then I started playing at the local club there, which again was just a little kind of 6 clubs in a little league. It was very, very minor, but it was for meeting people and kind of keeping my skills going and stuff. But I definitely didn't go out to Australia to play hockey. But I think if I had an opportunity again, I would maybe go and play a bit more seriously. But sometimes you just got to have a bit of fun and not stress too much as well.
That'd be great. Yeah, that sounds amazing. You said earlier you went to Durham and you play hockey at Durham. How do you find like balancing your hockey and your course and social life and everything you get with uni?
I think this question gets asked a lot. There's no right or wrong. I think for me, in my first year at university, I very much wanted to enjoy myself, meet a lot of people, and but still take hockey seriously. So there's a few fine lines. You want to have a good time and meet people, but it being organized, especially this year, it's been a big one. And I am not a naturally organized person. My time management is horrific. But it kind of goes to show that you just got to find that works for you. I love kind of making lists and writing stuff down. So if you can kind of stay on top of the near future events, so what have I got to do today, tomorrow, and then don't stress about too far in advance, or that might just stress you out a bit too much. And it's doing what you enjoy. So if you do want to go and see your friends, but then you do have hockey training in the evening, it's just kind of balancing those things, and you don't always have to say no to all social events if you've got hockey, or you don't have to quit hockey to still have fun and stuff. And it's just getting the balance, really, just so you can stay happy. But everyone's different, but I don't think there's not one trick that solves them all. But I think just trying to be organized and manage your time as best you can.
I think that first year definitely has to be a party year as well. Can't spend the first year just doing hockey. But one last thing about your course. Did you go to Durham because of your course, or did you look around and you went to Durham mainly because of the hockey, or did that just come with it?
I wanted to do sport and exercise science because I'm hoping to do a master's in physiotherapy whenever that happens in a couple of years' time, maybe. And for me, Durham was a brilliant university because I wanted to be playing National League hockey, but I also do want to take my academics seriously and want to leave for kind of a university with a good degree. So I looked at the Loughboroughs and the Birminghams and places like that, but Durham for me is different because it doesn't really matter where you are, who you're from, especially in the hockey club. It's a big family, and it's an amazing club to be part of. And I think that drew me to Durham a lot more than the bigger hockey unis, or sport unis. And I think they do really well at the dualistic approach of academics and sports. There's a lot of support for athletes that also take their academics seriously. So I was quite drawn to them, really. But the course, again, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for quite a while, but I realized I wanted to be a physio. But by doing sports science first, kind of become more qualified, but take a longer time to get there. And I don't really mind taking too many years at university. I'll get there in the end. I'll have a job at some point, a serious job anyway. But yeah, that's the plan at the moment.
So I know a lot of us are looking at unis at the moment because we're all applying to uni, so it's a bit we're trying to pick as well because we want to do hockey and everything. But no, that was really helpful. Thank you. So I think we're going to pass back to Ari now, and then we're going to make a little bit of games with Emily at the end.
Exciting.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Abby. I just wanted to ask a question, actually. If you're not really thinking of doing like a sporty based degree, is it still possible to be like so invested in like so high up in the hockey like culture in a university if you're doing, I don't know, say like a really like a mathsy or a English degree or something?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't need to worry about that at all. For me in the women's ones at Durham, there was a couple of people in my year that we did sport courses, but most of the girls, there was a mixture of everything, really. My best friend did biology, there was an engineer on there. I think everyone is different because that might make people are busier at different times because of different courses, but everyone is very understanding if you can't make a training or something because you have a deadline and stuff like that. But no, definitely you're not any less part of it at all, and definitely pick a course that you'd enjoy the most first, and then if you can kind of get a mix of a hockey university as well, which I felt I was really lucky to do, kind of get the best of both there. But no, every course is as welcome in a uni club for sure.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting. You got certainly a wide spread of people there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We've got a little game that Emily is going to play. She's also a ladies team member, and she plays for the under 18 team as well. Over to you, Emily, to explain our game.
Right, so we knew that we've got quite a few juniors tonight, so we thought we'd do some games and quick fire sessions. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play put a finger down. So if everyone puts up their hands like this, and I'm going to read out some hockey related things, and you have to put a finger down if you've ever done them. Okay. Right, forgotten your kit at a game. Scored an own goal. Broken a stick. Had a yellow card. Played a hockey match hungover. Turned up to the wrong location of the match. Played hockey in the snow. Had a hockey injury. Argued with an umpire. And played as a goalkeeper. I got 9. Oh, did you? Oh no, yeah. 9. How many? Did anyone lose their fingers? Right. We also have a quick fire questions round. So I'm going to ask. I'm not sure how many we've got. We've got quite a lot, and you've just got to answer them as quickly as you can.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Favorite hockey brand?
Grace.
Favorite film?
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Pre-match ritual?
Listen to Foundations by Kate Nash.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Invisibility.
What sport would you play if you couldn't play hockey?
Football.
How old were you when you started playing hockey?
6, I think.
Favorite pitch to play on?
Ben Ridding hockey pitch. Oh, I don't
know. Have you ever had any hockey injuries?
I got hit in the head when I was 10 years old. A bit of a scar on my head.
If you had to eat the same thing every day, what would it be?
My mum's lasagna.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs, definitely.
Mountains or beaches?
Oh, beaches.
Yeah. What are you scared of?
I don't like the dark very much.
What was your first word?
I don't know.
Cardio or weights?
Weights.
If you could change your name, what would it be?
Harriet.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, I live on a farm, so we have lots of sheep and cows and a couple of dogs.
What job would you be terrible at?
Probably like a journalist or something writing lots.
Shoe size?
6.5.
Favorite pizza topping?
If I was going to order Domino's, I would order chicken and sweet corn and barbecue, I think.
Scone or scone?
Scone. I'm going to panic.
Favorite colour?
Green.
First job?
Hockey player, I guess.
Ketchup or mayo?
Ketchup.
Can you play a musical instrument?
I used to play the clarinet.
Favorite song or artist?
Kate Nash by Foundations by Kate Nash.
And if you could live in another country, where would it be?
Ooh. Canada.
Nice. Right. I think I've got through all of them. I'll do 2 minutes and I thought I might run out of questions.
That was really good. That was quite stressful.
I think there's some questions.
Carry on, Mark.
Sorry, so.
Someone asked a question. I'm going to answer that one. To the Danny Kerry or Mark Hague question. I've never been coached by Danny Kerry, so I'd have to say Mark Hague. Thank you. Hope that was a good question.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions for Fiona, feel free to just unmute yourself and ask them.
Does it feel weird to be famous?
I don't know who that was, but that was a lovely question. I don't really see myself as famous. That sounds really weird. I don't know. I think doing things like this makes me feel quite strange, because I don't really see myself as any different to anyone else really. I've just started playing hockey, and it's just been a bit of a whirlwind really, joining the senior squad so late in the program and stuff. So it's a bit strange, but nothing too different. That was so sweet. Oh, what was that? Who has had the greatest influence? That's a good question. So I was just reading the one. Who has had the greatest influence on your player pathway? That's a really hard question, because there's been obviously quite a few different coaches and stuff as I've grown up. My under-16 coach at England, he was a very at the time scary coach, and I was very nervous around him the whole time. But he was he's called Mark Borhill, and he was a brilliant coach, and phenomenal coaching knowledge. And I think we had this kind of mutual respect for each other, because we were both from the north and there weren't very northerners around. And he kind of believed in individuals irrelevant of who they were or where they were from or what school they went to and stuff like that. And I think that really resonated with me, because I probably was quite nervous and didn't really think I should have been there and stuff like that. So I think he was a real inspiration for me, kind of just taught me that if you just work really hard, then you can achieve things really. You don't need to have really influenced starts and stuff. How old were you when you started playing screen position? I've always been kind of a midfield defensive player, but I was age group England stuff. I was a fullback, so I was like a proper defender. But I preferred being in the mid, because you have a bit more freedom and a bit more reading the game and interpreting the game and stuff like that. So screen has been the last couple of years really, and although it's kind of scary and you don't have much time and stuff like that on the ball, I really do love playing in that position. Good question. Ari, do I keep reading these? Is that what I meant to do?
Yeah, I mean, I can read them out if you want. Is that?
No, I wasn't sure if I should keep going. I didn't know if anyone else.
Yeah, I think we've got time, yeah.
Okay. Rich and Katie, where do you like to play? Is that positionally? Where do you like to play? If so, yeah. Yeah, I prefer defending to attacking, and I like being in the mid, but defending a lot. So I guess screen lends itself quite well there. I don't really like playing a half back, so like a right half or left half, like a play with a sideline, basically. I don't like being too near the sideline because I don't know, it's just, I like being in the middle, that you feel a bit more space and a bit more freedom, I think. I don't know if there's any questions I've missed.
Oh, a couple have just come in.
Oh yeah. What is the best advice you would give a 14-year-old you? Oh, that's a tricky question. Probably just to keep working hard, even if you are getting noticed or not getting noticed by coaches and stuff like that, not to worry about things like that, just to play because you enjoy it and with your friends, and just to have fun, really, without taking that too seriously.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any more questions? If you do, you just raise your hand and then you can unmute. If that's everything, oh, hold on, we've got one more in the chat.
What is your motto? Ooh. A lot of the time I find myself reminding myself, control the controllables. I use that one quite a lot. I think for me, because, well, if you're worried about work and hockey and friends and everything else, then you can end up stressing and worrying about things that aren't even in your control. So control the controllables isn't really a hockey one, but it's probably something I live by a little bit. What other universities do you know? Good hockey setup. University with a good hockey setup. Well, Durham. But I guess the other top universities for club and for books, so like the Wednesday League we play in as well, would be Nottingham, Loughborough, Birmingham, Exeter, Edinburgh is quite good as well. They're probably the top 5 or 6, yeah. In your opinion, who is the best ladies player in the world currently and why? Ooh, that's a tough one. Outfield would probably be one of many Dutch players. But I would say probably the best player in the world is Maddie Hinch, if you can count the goalkeepers and stick to Great Britain. So.
Can I not tie you down for an outfield player?
Oh God.
No pressure.
That is that's a very difficult question. Oh, I actually don't want to pick one. I feel like I'm just gonna offend someone.
You have to pick
if I had to.
Don't worry about offending someone. That's normally my job. You're safe.
Yeah, I really don't know. I can't even think of.
Got to be Ava de Huda.
I mean, marking her was something else, to be honest. Yeah, phenomenal player. Or Alex Danson. Thanks for that, Sophie.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Fiona. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on here and telling us all about your journey and things you might have found difficult in lockdown. I think it was really important for like the juniors to hear you as well as the adults. So I just want to say on behalf of the club, thank you so much for joining us. And also to the members of the club, could you keep an eye on like social media and Timo in the next week, because I think there's going to be a couple of challenges for the club around half term. So thank you so much, Fiona, and I'll pass back on to Martin.
Hey guys, thank you very much. And can I just say a big thank you for Ari for hosting this evening. I think you've definitely got a career in it, Ari. That was absolutely brilliant. Really well done. Also, thank you to Emily and to Abby and to Pete for coming up with such brilliant clips. And thank you all for attending. Just before we leave, I'd like to just introduce Gaynor, who's here from England Hockey, just to make sure we look after Fiona well. And she's also just wanted to do a quick 2 minutes just talking about the Hockey League. So if any of you wish to get tickets, Gaynor's going to tell you how we can do it and how we can actually go and see Fiona and her teammates in action in real life. So over to you, Gaynor.
Absolutely. I mean, you're all saying thank you to Fiona, and I think she's done a brilliant job this evening. But how cool would it be to have some support from Alton Hockey Club at Lee Valley to cheer her on as she runs out on the pitch there? The players all the time say how important it is to have a home crowd, and you haven't had a home crowd yet, have you, Fiona? So we want to make sure we've got a big one for you. Pro League tickets are on sale. We're in what's called an early bird window at the minute, which means there's up to 10% off ticket prices. Tickets are not expensive. If you wanted to go and celebrate your former player's career with England, the Alex Danson celebration is on the 15th of May. And those games are against Argentina. So both the men and the women are playing Argentina on that day. But there are 4 dates in May, June time that you can go to Lee Valley and do that. What we've set up is Martin is going to be the Pro League agent, and he's going to send a link around the club. So if you use that link to buy your tickets, the club earns points. And what do points make? Parents, please. Prizes. So you can get prizes for your club. So there can be sticks, it can be balls, it can be beanie hats, it can be shirts. But every time you cash out with these reward points, you can win a big prize. And one of the big prizes would be to have a player come visit your club when we're allowed, maybe one of the coaches to come down and do a session for you. So it's really all to play for. So yeah, that's what I wanted to get across to you. Martin will send a link around the club. Look out for it, buy your tickets, get behind Fiona and her teammates, and let's go and make some noise at Lee Valley.
All right, Gaynor, thank you so much. And thank you again, Fiona. I don't know whether you can see the chat, but there's lots of people have been saying thank you and wishing you all the best. And yeah, hope we can come and watch you at one of your games soon.
No, thank you very much for having me. It was a lovely Zoom.
Brilliant. Right. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Right. Bye.
Bye.
You don't need to stay on, Fiona, if you don't want to.
I thought I'd wait because I wasn't sure if I should wait.
You're very welcome to. We normally have a quick debrief at the end.
Oh, I'll stay for that.
I just wanted to say how well you did, Harry. I think if you're not thinking about journalism for a career, then you really ought to be. You're going to be the next Graham Norton or something. You've done a brilliant job this evening. Well done, you. Really, really good.
Thank you.
You did amazing.
Well, Fiona, you made it really easy, so thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, you did really well, Harry. That was brilliant. Well, I hope you felt okay about it, Fiona, because that was the idea really, was to get some of our under 18 girls to sort of host it, just to make it feel a bit more welcoming.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. It was really enjoyable. I thought the structure was really good. And yeah, you sound like a very, a lovely club to be part of.
Well, it looks like a few others have stayed on, so feel free, guys, if you...
That's it, Fiona, you're an adopted Alton player now, so we'll all be following you. So but thank you very much for that. That was really, really good, really insightful and great advice for the juniors.
One of the questions we were going to ask, but I'm not sure we had the courage to. We've got one of our young girls, Monica, who's just qualified for England. Is it under 16, Gaynor?
Under 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
16.
Wow.
So we've had Alex Danson for sort of 15 years, and we've got Monica to look forward to. But we have got this little gap that we need filling with the GB lady.
Who can we get to fill the gap? I don't know anyone.
Okay.
We can send you a beanie.
Didn't we have Brazil Ainsley?
I'll take that.
So any feedback, Matt or Pete or Loon?
No, really good. Thanks, Fiona. Massively good. Sorry, I missed probably part of it. How old are you now?
I am
22?
20. Sorry, I had to think about that. It's my birthday in a week's time. I'm 21 soon. So.
Wow. And yeah, composure like a 40-year-old.
Thank you.
I think most of the under 18. So Molly was just next to me, was going, how does she manage going from Durham down to Marlow? It's a massive slog, and presumably you've got to do it quite frequently. That must impact on your studies massively. I suppose now you can do it remotely, so it's not so bad. But
yeah, it's crazy because I think I picked Durham, and I knew how far away it was. But I guess you don't really take into account just how kind of draining traveling is as well. So kind of we used to get the train quite a lot. So we train. So without speaking about this for 10 minutes, the kind of this stage below seniors is kind of under 23s Great Britain. So I was in that this from the start of this academic year. And so a lot of the trainings they pick are kind of Midlands, so Loughborough or Nottingham, purely just kind of for travel and to support all the students, because a lot of us are, pretty much 90% of us are at university. And Dom are really good, as long as you're organised. Dom are really good are kind of allowing you to miss stuff and give you kind of time to catch up or move deadlines and stuff like that. But yeah, it is difficult. And I've actually, because I've just moved down to Marlow, and kind of luckily, I guess there's a silver lining to everything, but because obviously university is all online anyway, so I'm still managing to do my studies around training. But I'm in my second year, but I've recently just decided to split my year. So I'll actually, instead of doing six topics or modules, whatever you want to call them, I'm just doing 3 now until the remainder of this year, because I think being a full-time athlete took a bit more time than I thought it was going to. So I'll just take a bit longer to get this first degree done. But as I said earlier, I'm not too rushed about that.
Well, no, exactly. No.
Yeah, so it's doing what's right for each individual really. But I think, with it being online, it's a perfect opportunity really. So I'm very lucky in that sense. Yeah.
That's good.
Awesome. You're only going to have another 60 odd years in front of you working when you finally finish into that year.
Exactly. There's no rush really. I'll retire late or something. It's fine.
All right, guys. I think we've taken enough of Fiona's time. So thank you, Fiona. Thank you, Gaynor. Thanks for arranging it. Thanks, guys, for sorting. Cheers, Harry. Cheers, Pete.
Awesome. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
very
Fiona.
much.
Cheers.
Bye.
Good luck. Bye.
Bye then. Bye.